Hello and welcome back. I'm Barbara O'Neill. Today we are diving into the important topic of salt and water. Understanding how salt and water affect our health becomes increasingly important as we age and prioritize maintaining our well-being. As we grow older, it's important to pay attention to what we consume and how it impacts our bodies. Salt and water aren't just basic elements. They play essential roles in keeping our bodies functioning optimally. From regulating blood pressure to supporting proper hydration and cellular function, these elements are fundamental to our health. Similar to the revitalizing effects of fresh air, ensuring a balanced intake of salt and adequate hydration can significantly enhance our overall health and quality of life. In this lecture, we'll explore why finding the right balance in salt consumption and maintaining proper hydration levels is so beneficial.
Hello students. We are going to dive into a very important lesson from Dr. Barbara O'Neill on the importance of hydration. This lesson will be packed with valuable knowledge that is beneficial for everyone, so be sure to watch it to the end as Barbara has a lot of knowledge to share.
Why should we be drinking water? So let me tell you why. So let's have a look at water loss in a day. So from the kidneys, now please bear with me here because I'm an Australian, so I'm going to say litre, but I think you realise in the US a quart is the same as the litre. So from the kidneys we have 1.5 litre loss in a day. From the colon we have 0.3 of a litre loss in the day. From the lungs we have a 0.2 of a litre loss. And what's a surprise to most is from the skin we have a 0.5 of a litre loss. So that's 2.5 litre loss, so litre loss in a 24-hour period. We need to be replacing 2 litres or 2 quarts of water. Well, what about the other? Well, in our magnificent breakfast this morning, we had water coming in through our mango, through our grapefruit, so you see your fruits and vegetables also supply some fluid, but we need to have at least 2 litres of pure water a day. So here's the rule of thumb. So 50 pound body weight to 1, well, I'll say quart for your sake, for 1 quart or 1 litre. So that means if someone is 100 pound, they should be having 2 quarts a day. And I guess someone gets very concerned if they're 200 pound, does that mean I've got to drink 3 quarts a day? Well, that's a good incentive for weight loss. And if someone's only drinking 2 glasses of water a day and they're 200 pound, they can get very discouraged at that news. So you know what I say, Rome wasn't built in a day. You just start little by little by little to drink more. But it's a good rule of thumb for children because children need water. And you watch, a child gets up in the morning, runs around and plays for a while, sit down for breakfast. What's the first thing they want to do straight after breakfast? Water. Because they sat to eat dehydrated. Same with the adults. How many adults get up in the morning, first thing they have is, say, orange juice and a cup of coffee. Isn't that the traditional breakfast fluids? And what are they doing when they have their orange juice and their cup of coffee? They're thirsty, they're trying to hydrate, but neither will hydrate them. How clean would your body be if you washed it in orange juice? How clean would your body be if you washed it in a cup of coffee? Water and water alone will supply what the body needs.
According to Dr. Barbara, water is essential for maintaining bodily functions. Besides its critical role in hydration, it helps regulate body temperature, aids digestion, and supports nutrient absorption. Daily water loss through kidneys, colon, lungs, and skin highlights the need for constant replenishment. Although fruits and vegetables contribute to daily fluid intake, their water content alone might not be enough for optimal hydration. A general guideline is to drink at least 1 liter of water for every 50 pounds of body weight daily. This ensures basic hydration needs are met, with adjustments necessary for different weights and activity levels. For example, someone weighing 100 pounds should aim for 2 liters, while a 200-pound person should consider 3 liters, taking into account individual differences and environmental conditions.
Now, when you look at that, I think you'd agree with me, the nation's dehydrated. And Dr. B's book, One of the Body's Many Cries for Water, it actually explains why all of these ailments are happening. The other title to his book is, he's not sick, he's thirsty. The other title to his book is, subtitle, Don't Treat Thirst with Medications. Because when you do take medications, what does that do to your hydration status? Lessens it even more. I know as a psychiatric nurse, you'd be talking to the patients and you can tell their mouth is dry by the way they're talking. So what do? Oh, Coke, coffee. Is that helping? Not at all. In fact, it's contributing to the fact that they're still in the psychiatric hospital, because our brain is 85% water. From the neck down, we're 75% water. Our brain is a hydroelectric system. No hydro, no electricity. A person can actually develop negative thought patterns in a dehydrated brain. And most people know that their headache possibly is due to dehydration. My husband rang me one day, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He was driving. He said, I don't know what's the matter with me. I've got a migraine. I can hardly drive. So you know what my first question always is? How much water have you drank? And he went, oh dear. He said, I haven't drank any water since I woke up this morning. So he woke up in the morning and had water. He had breakfast. Must have got busy, had lunch, and now we are 3 in the afternoon. He is chronically dehydrated. So I said to him, please don't drink a whole glass of water. Please just have half a glass of water. A few minutes later, another half glass of water. A few minutes later, let it little by little go in. He said after the first glass, the migraine went to a headache. And after the second glass, the headache went to a dull ache. And after the third glass, he had no headache. Now, isn't it nice if you can resolve every headache just with water? But unfortunately, not every headache is just due to dehydration. But I like to use the process of elimination. Let's try water first. And Dr. Batman Geheldage in that jail was finding all these problems resolving just because he was giving water. In fact, when the politics changed and he was finally released, he said, look, do you mind if I stay? They've never had anyone say that before. He said, I'm right in the middle of this very interesting research. And he's presented at in medical journals, he's presented at medical conferences. And out of all of those talks he gave, he's written the book, One of the Body's Many Cries for Water. But it's not a popular message, is it? You can't make a lot of money out of water.
Dr. B, in his book, Your Body's Many Cries for Water, highlights a simple yet profound truth. Dehydration is a widespread issue with significant health implications. It is alarming to consider that a substantial portion of the population may suffer from various health problems simply due to inadequate hydration. From headaches to more complex issues like negative thought patterns, the impact of dehydration can be extensive and far-reaching.
We have to go to the third most vital element needed for life, and that is sodium. The fourth most vital element needed for life is potassium. So let's go back to sodium. In nature, we find the highest amount of sodium in seawater, and seawater contains 92 minerals. Of those 92 minerals, approximately 30% is sodium, and of those 92 minerals, approximately 50% is chloride. Now, because sodium chloride take up the most amount, they're the first crystals formed when the water is evaporated. So what man does is he scoops up the first crystals formed, he bleaches them white, puts aluminium with it so that it runs freely, and there's your table salt. Table salt is a dangerous salt because we now have two very harsh minerals that if you were to inject both of those into the blood, you would die. There's two harsh minerals and they need all the other 90 to soften them and balance them. The highest concentration of mineral inside the cell is potassium. The highest concentration outside the cell is sodium. And in this bilayered membrane that is around every cell, there are sodium-potassium pumps. And these sodium-potassium pumps are ever going like this, maintaining the balance between potassium and sodium. But when someone's not eating enough fruits and vegetables, and that's where you get most of your potassium, and they're putting table salt on everything far too much, what happens now is sodium levels rise and potassium levels drop. There is a small amount of sodium in the cell, but when this happens, you see osmosis and diffusion happens when the highest concentration merges into the lowest. So now sodium levels inside the cell are rising, which they should not, and the cell swells. What's that called? High blood pressure.
Maintaining the delicate balance between sodium and potassium is vital for overall well-being. Sodium, chiefly derived from sea salt and constituting most of table salt, functions predominantly outside cells. On the other hand, potassium, found abundantly in fruits and vegetables, is essential inside cells. This distribution is meticulously managed by sodium-potassium pumps in cell membranes. When diets are deficient in potassium-rich foods and overly reliant on sodium from table salt, disruptions occur. Sodium builds up inside cells, leading to swelling, a phenomenon directly associated with hypertension or high blood pressure. This highlights the necessity of a balanced diet that includes potassium-rich foods like leafy greens, bananas, and potatoes to mitigate the hypertensive effects of sodium.
Remember Dr. B? He cured 3,000 cases of stomach ulcer just with water. Just with water. How simple is that? So simple. So this man has been all over the world trying to get help, and then he came to a health retreat in the hills in Victoria and learnt the conditions to give his stomach for healing. So we come down the gastrointestinal tract and we come to the pancreas. Here's the pancreas. And the pancreas releases two hormones into the blood, and it also releases hormones into the gut. Or enzymes into the gut, hormones into the blood. What are the hormones going into the blood from the pancreas? It's insulin and glucagon. Both of these hormones require a large amount of water to be able to be made properly. So if someone's dehydrated, can you see that can contribute to diabetes? From the gut, they're great big long names, so I'm just going to give you, there's about 4 enzymes that are released to finalise the digestion of our food. These enzymes, there's one enzyme that finalises starch digestion, there's another enzyme that finalises fat digestion, and that's your polyunsaturated, because remember your saturated is broken down under the tongue, the enzyme under the tongue. And there are two enzymes that finalise protein digestion, and that's why when someone has pancreatic cancer, they often die very quickly and they die of malnutrition because the pancreas can't release those enzymes to finalise digestion. And if digestion is not finalised, the food can't get out of the gut and into the blood. So let's keep going down the gastrointestinal tract and look at the effect of water. So moving on down the gastrointestinal tract, we come to the colon. And one of the main functions of the colon is to take water out so stools are formed. If a person is dehydrated, more water gets taken out than should be taken out, so we're left with rabbit pellets and cement. So constipation can be a result of dehydration.
As we progress through the gastrointestinal tract to the pancreas, we uncover its dual responsibilities in hormone and enzyme production. The creation of insulin and glucagon, vital for blood sugar regulation, is heavily dependent on an adequate water supply. Dehydration can interfere with their production, potentially leading to diabetes or aggravating existing conditions. Additionally, 4 essential enzymes play pivotal roles in digestion: amylase for starch, lipase for fats, and protease for proteins. In cases such as pancreatic cancer, where enzyme production is compromised, patients often experience rapid malnutrition. Inadequate digestion prevents nutrients from entering the bloodstream, hastening health deterioration. Moving onward to the colon, its primary role in water extraction from stools becomes evident. Dehydration exacerbates this process, resulting in hardened stools and potential constipation. This underscores the critical necessity of sufficient water intake to maintain digestive health.
I put them on Celtic Salt. Why does he put them on Celtic Salt? Because Celtic Salt contains 82 minerals. It's a hand-harvested sea salt. So the minerals are in the Celtic Salt in their balanced form. What about Himalayan salt? In many places, Himalayan salt is a lot easier to get. There's about 75 minerals. So it's pretty good. But I prefer the Celtic Salt. And one reason is that the Celtic Salt has 3 magnesiums. It contains magnesium chloride and magnesium bromide and magnesium sulfate. Magnesium is a water-hungry molecule, and this explains why the Celtic Salt is such a moist salt, especially when we've had a lot of rain, because those 3 magnesiums absorb the moisture. And because magnesium is a water-hungry molecule, it can be used to help the water get into the cell. So when you take a crystal of Celtic Salt, put it on your tongue, and some say, how big's a crystal? Well, if you've got high blood pressure, start small, about the size of a sesame seed. I don't have high blood pressure, so I might have about 3 times little sesame seeds. Put it on your tongue, your mucous membranes start absorbing the minerals, the magnesium is taken to the cell membrane, and you drink your water, and that magnesium pulls that water inside the cell. It's the quickest way to hydrate a body. The only time excess water drinking can be dangerous is if people drink too much at once and don't have the minerals that are in the Celtic Salt to pull that water inside the cell. I've had people complain to me, they say, I'm drinking more water now, and now I'm going to the bathroom all day. So I say, are you having the salt? Have a little crystal before every glass of water. And ideally, we should be having approximately 8 glasses of water a day. And then I say to them, and don't drink a whole glass at once. I think I mentioned earlier, I drink half a glass as soon as I get up. I go to the bathroom, I drink another half glass. Then I get dressed and have another half glass. But when I start every glass, I have that little bit of salt. So you spread the water over the day.
Celtic Salt stands out not just for its magnesium content, but also for its comprehensive approach to hydration and mineral balance. In addition to magnesium chloride and magnesium sulfate, Celtic Salt retains trace elements crucial for cellular function and hydration regulation. This mineral-rich composition not only enhances the salt's flavor, but also plays a vital role in maintaining electrolyte balance. When using Celtic Salt, it's important to consider its role in optimizing hydration. Placing a small crystal on your tongue initiates a process where mucous membranes absorb essential minerals directly into the bloodstream. This method prepares the body to efficiently absorb water consumed afterward, ensuring hydration reaches the cellular level swiftly. I'm so grateful to have you here today as we explore the significance of water. Remember, the path to a healthier you requires meaningful lifestyle changes and offers long-term benefits. I wholeheartedly encourage you to use the knowledge gained from our talk and integrate it into your daily routine. Even the smallest changes in your habits can lead to remarkable improvements over time. Always know that I'm here if you have any questions or want to discuss your experiences. Feel free to connect with me anytime. I wish you the very best for your health and well-being, hoping that your journey towards a healthier and more contented self is filled with accomplishments and joy.